Hey Eagles, I'm Carsey Sims and I'm with my grandpa Don Sims. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the war.
Well, thank you, Carsey. Thank you for having me. I was drafted back in the 1960s. They wanted a lot of people because the war was going strong in Vietnam and it wasn't a popular war. So rather than being drafted, I went ahead and joined. So I went to officer candidate school at Fort Benning and then was commissioned as an infantry officer. The infantry makes up 11% of the Army, but it has 80% of the casualties, so it's a pretty tough group. Went through airborne training and then I had an infantry platoon in Vietnam. So it was probably the most challenging job I've ever had, but I was wounded in action and came back to the States, but I was lucky. None of my men were killed, so I don't have the psychological problems that a lot of combat veterans have.
So how was the transition coming back?
It was really hard at first. So in my job in the military, we were very busy. There's a lot of hard work and long hours. And then when you become a civilian, life is slower and it's less busy and there's a lot. It's just a different life, and so you have to just adjust to it. And I still struggle now to adjust to not having to work such long days or always being on call. Just regular 8 to 5 life is actually much harder than people think. In the military, we have a very stringent schedule, and it kind of affects you in the long run.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Eagles. Today I am here with
Anson Fields, and I am Benjamin Purcell's grandfather.
Perfect. Well, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So, what branch did you serve in?
The Navy.
That is awesome. Where did you serve?
I spent most of my Navy duty in Morocco on the edge of the desert. As a matter of fact, I have no sea duty.
Oh, that is awesome.
Piece of trivia for a sailor, right?
So, what has being in the military, how has that shaped your life today?
I grew up. That may be an odd answer, but when I went in the Navy, I actually got called to active duty because I lost my college deferment because I was partying a little too hard. And by the time I came home, I was much more serious about work and life and goals. So I think the short answer is I grew up.
Well, that was a great answer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
Of course.
Hi, I'm with.
Miss Fleming.
Can you tell me how old your dad was when he went to Vietnam?
My dad was 18 when he was drafted, and he was 19 when he actually went to Vietnam.
Okay. Can you please tell me a little bit about your dad and his time in the Vietnam War?
Yeah, he was the radio operator for the unit. He was in the Army. And so even though he wasn't, carrying, he had guns, but he wasn't carrying big guns or anything, he would call in the airstrikes. He would be the guy that would get on the big handset and call in the airstrikes.
How do you think him being in the war influenced your family?
My dad is 100% disabled with PTSD. So my dad does not like the 4th of July. He never really celebrated the fireworks. Always sort of set him on edge, and that was not something that he enjoyed. He used to have nightmares quite a bit when we were little and would get up and wander the house. And even now when he has surgery, when he comes out of the anesthesia, every time he has flashbacks, and they're pretty traumatic. So that's not something that's been fun to watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.